new hidden burning scenario map. There are actually 10 different event islands with rewards. Can you get them all? Which one should you try to get first? Let's dive in. I'm StratGamer and welcome to a new Anno 1800 episode. This is a guide where we're gonna talk about the hidden burning scenario and in particular the event islands. By event island, I mean an island like this where you can see there is something happening. We'll cover how many islands there are, how many can you actually get in a map, where are they, some tips, and finally what rewards you can get. Before we dive in, please consider subscribing to the channel. Also, please don't hesitate to use the chapter functionality of YouTube. If you are only interested in a specific part of the video, you can go right there. There are actually 10 different, what I would call event islands at this point. And I say at this point because we think there may be more, but some of them are bugged. So we're going to talk about those ones later on. But for now, let's focus on the 10 islands that actually work. And when I say event island, this is something like this one, where, as you can see, there is something that we can do, right? We can free the cage monkey in that case, versus an island like this one, for example, there's nothing. You can spend as much time as you want. You know, it is a pretty island for sure, but there's nothing to do there. But every time you start a new scenario, you actually won't get 10. From a number of experiments from myself and also Duke Vitae on the official Discord, we found that it was usually 8, sometimes 6, and one time I actually got 9. But again, mostly 8 out of those 10. It's not always the same 8. Sometimes there's no temples, sometimes you don't get the turtle, etc. But you know, you sort of get, let's say, 8 out of these 10 in a random way. If you found something different, if you ever got 10, for example, I'd love to hear about it in the comments below. The second thing that is important to know, unfortunately, the placement of these islands is completely random across the map. So if one time, you know, your monkey island is over here, it doesn't mean it will be there the next time. So of course that means I can't really tell you, you need to absolutely start, you know, going south and then you go west and then you come back, and you know, I can't give you a perfect, let's say, build order in a sense, but I can give you a few advice. The first one, if you don't know, is if you press the middle button of your mouse, you can move of the view of the camera to go very close to the sea, and then even in the fog of war you can start to see islands. You can see how close they are, like this one is quite far. My second advice is don't press shift and click all over the map and just leave your ship be, because the reason you want to discover some of those islands is to bring back some very important resources as quickly as possible. For example, timber. You can only do that if you're actually following a bit your ship and making the ship come back when needed. So to do that, what I suggest you actually sort of think a bit of a corner of the map. Like you can do press like this, you know, shift, so that now my ship is going to do this corner over here. And when I see that the corner is, I start to see some islands, then I'm going to click back. And while, you know, the ship does that, I can start planning my island. The last advice that I have for you is that you need to know what the rewards are. You need to know which ones are good, which ones aren't, which ones are good at the beginning of the game, which ones are good later on. So now let's review those islands. We're going to do it in the order that I think is the most important to get, you know, if you want to get the gold medal or if you want to succeed in this scenario. Island number 1 is the Scavenge from the Pyrphorian Harbour that you can see here. You need to get your ship close to that harbor and click on it, and then you will get a nice reward. This island always looks like this. You will find it, it's quite a big one. 16 timber, 16 tools, and 16 electric cable. Why is that the first one in my list? Well, first of all, 16 timber. If you can get that very early on, that means you can really jumpstart the growth of your city, which is critical to get the gold medal. Similarly, 16 tools, more than 10% of what you need for the first stage of the dam. So that's definitely significant. You'll also need tools for other things. Lastly, electric cables, we definitely also need a lot for the last stage, so having them early on is great, but mostly it's the timber. Island number 2 that's very important to get as soon as possible is Scavenge from the Pyrphorian Shipwreck that you can see here. moon-shaped island, a bit smaller than the other one, quite low, so actually it's easy to miss, you know, when you're looking like this. Providing 8 timber. That's why you want it as soon as possible to jumpstart your city growth. As soon as you can have that, just bring it back to your city. Our ship has arrived to island number 3. After scavenging from the Pyrphorian, we're going to clean up their mess, because this is a Pyrphorian ship that has put oil all over this island. There are a lot of birds that are stuck. So we're going to remove that by just clicking on it. Let's remove oil spill. So this is really good because you don't have to pay anything, you don't have to come back home. And if we now go back home and look at the water quality, we now have this removed oil spill of plus 20. So that's a huge one. You don't pay anything, you don't have to come back home, and you get this permanent bonus of plus 20. Okay, our ship has now arrived to island number 4. It is pretty much the same bonus as island number 3, but there is one key reason why it is 4th place, because you first need to click on clearing that fish net so that you get the injured turtle, but then you need to bring that back. It forces you to come back before you can actually get the bonus. When you arrive to the port, she asks if you found anything, and indeed we did. So do give it to her, and then she says it will take some time for the turtle to recover. 1 minute in game, because I'm in the fastest speed. Your ship actually doesn't need to be there anymore. So as soon as you've delivered the turtle, you can leave, and you will get the bonus of the turtle clean waters plus 20 to your water eco balance. So it's a really good one. Definitely want it. Number 4. Our ship is arriving to island number 5, which actually has someone. A Pyrphorian Castaway has made a small house, and he actually cut all of the trees, it seems. You can see here and there. He's asking you for wood. You have 30 minutes to do it. This is actually, I think, the only one that's timed. But if you deliver it, you'll see it gives you back 25 fish. And at the beginning of the game, 25 fish is quite nice. That can enable you to stop all of your fisheries for a while. That can enable you to give fish before you have fisheries. So definitely a good one to do. Our ship is now arriving to island number 6, which is the famous cage monkey island. This, in my opinion, is number 6 because it will give us 25 bananas. And it's good at the beginning of the game to have a lot of these bananas, but honestly, it's not that hard to actually make bananas. You know, the soil eco balance is not hard to manage. Space that it takes is not that much. Cost in terms of timber is only 3. So, you know, banana is not a big challenge. So it's good, and if it's very close to your city, it takes it quite a good reserve that will last you for some time. But all the islands we've seen before are, in my opinion, more important, more critical to get you on the right path to the gold medal. Now welcome to island number 7. This is the clean this pile of debris. You just need to click on it with your ship and you'll get the resources. Why is it so low in the order of the top 10? Well, it's mainly because you don't actually need those resources early on. I think it is a great island, you should definitely go for it, but steel and electric cables you don't really need right away. So it's totally fine to sort of go through first islands 1 to 6 and then get to that one. It's why it is number 7. This, on the other hand, it seems to me that it is quite useless. It says that it is a quest item. I haven't seen any quest linked to this. It could be what we're going to discuss at the end towards the bugs. So far, I haven't seen any use for it. If you have, don't hesitate to share in the comments below. I'd love to hear about it. Island number 8. This is the first island with a temple. There's 2 islands with temples. They don't look exactly the same, so do take a good look. You know, you can see that here the temple is sort of in the middle, and then this to open the temple is, I would say, on its side versus the other one will be a bit more behind. There's 2 reasons why for me this is number 8, so quite low in the ranking. The first one is to actually get a reward you need to spend something, and you actually need to spend wood, timber and tools if you want a good reward, which I don't have to tell you at the beginning of the game are quite valuable resources. To give that, we need to get something good in return, and honestly I don't think we're getting something that good. You click first here, it tells you it's closed, so then you click on that thing here to open it, and then you click again. Few decisions will start, you know, you can come back later, especially if you don't have the wood, so that way you sort of come back, but we have it here, so let's click on this. And then we have three choices, either to give some tools, caoutchouc, or just to look around. If you just do this one, you will get a very small bonus of, I think it's 20% productivity for 10 minutes if I remember correctly. So it's not bad, but it's not that great either. This one you don't get anything, at least right now. Maybe it's bug, but that's my experience. When you choose this one, you have then two other choices. One is we'll take this to the village for analysis. If you do that, you don't get anything. If you do this one, then you get something quite nice. It affects all non-polluting production buildings with an eco impact of +3. It is not the only way to get that item. You can still get that item other ways, and that's why I put it really on number 8, quite low in the ranking. But if you do get it, of course you will use it. It's really good to improve your air quality. If you don't know why, don't hesitate to put in the comments below or to check some of my other videos that talk about it. Okay, our ship has arrived at island number 9, which is the second temple. The island looks, as you can see, a bit different from the previous one we just saw. In particular, the pillar is sort of behind it instead of on the side. The other big difference is that for this one, we don't need to pay anything. So you may wonder why I'm putting this one number 9 when we don't have to pay. Well, it's because, in my opinion, the reward that we get is not useful. You can see that we need to open, and sometimes, like my ship is doing here, you need to move a bit your ship, and then it will be open and we'll get directly the bonus. We won't have to do anything. We get 5 herborium, which, as we've said before, we don't really need, especially at the start of any playthrough. But if you're going for gold, you don't need it at all. And then secondly, we're getting the giant water lilies, and it's always the same in all of my tries. Always got the giant water lilies, and it does appear to be nice. You know, it's epic, +5 on your eco quality for the aquafarms. The only problem is that the eco quality impact of aquafarms is actually on the soil. In my opinion, it's definitely the easiest to keep in the positive, so really don't think you need this thing, and that's why it is at number 9. Island number 10, in my opinion, the least important one to get the gold medal. Good thing about this one though is it's easy to spot when it's still in the fog of war, thanks to that arrow. Bring your ship to it and get it. And with this, you always get the 2 same items. 3 herborium can be useful early on to craft legendary items, but you already have those legendary items if you're trying to go for gold, so not that important. And then an epic item for your trade union, the moonshine coral. I've always gotten the moonshine coral in many tries. If you got another one, don't hesitate to share in the comments below. And this affects your fisheries. The reason I think this is not that important is, honestly, if you're following all my other advice to get the gold medal, you won't need to put anything on your fisheries. Plus, put a trade union on the fisheries, it probably cover 2, maybe max 3 fisheries. So it's not a huge impact on your overall city. I mentioned earlier that there was 10 event islands, but there may be more. And this is because of bugs. For example, this is Fisherman. John Juan the Fisherman. It is here at the top of your island. From time to time, he's going to say things like, I can read nautical chart, but this is a mystery. We know this is a quest. Ubisoft has posted on their official forum that it should be a quest, but it's a quest that's just not starting. You know, if you bring your ship, it's never starting. So linked to that quest, we know there's probably some islands that will be linked to it. For example, this one is probably very linked to that quest. For 2 reasons, in my opinion. You can see this cross here, and there's also sort of a hidden passage behind the mountain. There is actually another island which has the exact same passage under, but doesn't have the cross. That will also be linked to the quest. And there are many other islands that, in my opinion, could actually be linked to quests. If you're still watching by now, please hit the like button and leave a comment. We'd love to hear about your thoughts and hope to see you next time.